Most slot players never see the pattern, but once you know what to look for, you can't unsee it. I spent $500 testing a viral TikTok slot, not to win, to document what the machine actually does when real money is on the line. What I recorded contradicts everything casinos want you to believe. Before we go further, I need to know something. Have you ever felt like a slot machine was playing you instead of you playing it? Comment yes or no right now. This isn't entertainment advice. This is behavioral documentation. I'm not here to sell you a system or promise you wealth. I'm here to show you what happens inside the decision architecture of modern slot machines, and why your brain is the real target. The slot I tested was everywhere on TikTok. Hundreds of videos, massive wins, bonus rounds that paid thousands, players screaming, celebrating, making it look effortless. But here's what those videos don't show: the hours of losses before that one viral win, the edited out dead spins, the truth about variance and probability, and the psychological manipulation built into every single spin. Most people think slots are random. They are, but random doesn't mean fair, and it definitely doesn't mean uncontrolled. Here's what players believe. You press a button, the machine spins, you either win or lose. Pure chance. Here's what's actually happening. The machine is tracking your bet size, your session length, your win-to-loss ratio, and your emotional state. Not explicitly, but algorithmically, through pacing, through reinforcement schedules, through volatility design. Modern slots are connected to casino management systems. Every spin you make is locked. Every win, every loss, every hesitation. The casino knows your average bet, your peak bet, your loss tolerance, your playing patterns. They don't need to cheat. They just need to keep you playing longer than you planned. Let me walk you through the $500 trial. I documented every spin, every win, every loss, and more importantly, every feeling the machine tried to create. I loaded $500, set my bet at $2 per spin. That gave me 250 potential spins. Enough data to see the pattern, enough risk to feel what most players feel. In the first 30 spins, I hit 3 small wins. Nothing major. $20, $15, $25. Enough to feel momentum. Enough to think, this machine is hot. This is not luck. This is statistically engineered tolerance. Slots are programmed with variable ratio reinforcement schedules. The same system that makes gambling addictive. The same system used to train laboratory animals. Early wins are more frequent to establish engagement, to make you feel like you're in control, to make you believe the next big hit is close. But here's the key. These wins never exceed your total bet investment. You're winning back your own money, slowly, while the machine learns your behavior. After those first 30 spins, my balance was at $480. I was down $20, but I felt like I was winning. That gap between reality and perception, that's where casinos make their profit. Point 2. The dip. After 40 spins, the wins stopped, dead cold. 50 spins, nothing. 70 spins, nothing. My balance dropped from $480 to $320. I could feel the shift, the frustration, the confusion, the irrational anger at a machine that doesn't care. This is where most players panic. They increase their bet size, they switch machines, or they convince themselves the big win is coming because they're due. But the machine isn't broken, it's working perfectly. This is called extinction burst testing. The machine is measuring your frustration tolerance. How long will you play without reward? How much will you risk to get back to even? Psychologically, this is the most critical phase because your brain starts bargaining. Just 10 more spins, just until I hit something, just until I recover what I lost. The longer you stay, the more data the machine collects, and the more predictable you become. Slots operate on something called RTP, return to player percentage. Most slots return between 85 and 96% over millions of spins. That means for every $100 you bet, the machine is programmed to keep $4 to $15. But that's averaged over millions of spins. In your session, you could lose everything or hit a jackpot. The variance is designed to feel unpredictable, to feel like anything is possible. But mathematically, the outcome is already determined. You will lose. The only question is how much and how fast. Point 3. The recovery tease. At spin 92, I hit a bonus round, $65. Not enough to recover my losses, but enough to reset my emotional state. I felt hope again. I felt like the cold streak was over. I felt like I was back in the game. This is the most dangerous moment in slot psychology because you're not chasing a win anymore. You're chasing a feeling. The feeling of being rewarded. The feeling of validation. The feeling of control. And casinos know this. That's why bonus rounds are designed with cinematic sound effects, flashing lights, celebratory music, visual explosions of color and movement. Your brain releases dopamine not because you won big, but because the machine told you won. The sensory overload creates a neurological reward response that has nothing to do with the actual monetary value. Studies show that near misses trigger the same brain regions as actual wins. The slot shows you 2 jackpot symbols and 1 off by a single position. Your brain interprets that as almost winning, so you keep playing. But the near miss was programmed. It wasn't random chance. It was designed to exploit your cognitive bias. Which of these 3 phases have you personally experienced? The early win streak, the cold dip, or the recovery tease that pulled you back in? Comment the number 1, 2, or 3. Point 4. The grind. From spin 100 to spin 200, I entered the grind phase. Small wins, small losses, net negative, but never catastrophic. This is where the machine stops testing you and starts farming you. You're no longer a new player, you're a committed player, and the machine's job is no longer to hook you, it's to extract maximum value over maximum time. The math is brutal. Every spin has a house edge, 5%, 10%, 15% depending on the game. Over 200 spins, that edge compounds. You can't win long term, you can only lose slower or faster. But your brain doesn't process math in real time, it processes emotion. And as long as you're occasionally winning, your brain believes you're still in the game. Here's what $500 actually represents on a slot machine. At $2 per spin, that's 250 spins. At an average spin time of 6 seconds, that's 25 minutes of play. 25 minutes, $500. That's $20 per minute of entertainment. But you don't feel it that way because the money becomes abstract. It becomes credits, points, digital numbers on a screen. You stop thinking of it as rent money, grocery money, bill money. That psychological distancing is intentional. Casinos removed cash decades ago for exactly this reason. Point 5. The exit trap. At spin 230, I was down to $140. I told myself I'd stop at 100, but then I hit another small win, $30. Then another, $25. Suddenly, I was at 200. Not enough to break even, but enough to make me think, if I just play a little longer, I can recover everything. This is the exit trap. The machine gives you just enough hope to prevent you from leaving, and just enough loss to keep you emotionally invested. I forced myself to stop, but I felt it. The pull, the irrational belief that the next spin could change everything. That feeling is not accidental. It's the product of decades of behavioral research, neuroscience, and casino engineering. The final tally? I walked away with $195, a $305 loss in under 30 minutes. Let's go deeper, because this isn't just about slot machines. This is about how casinos weaponize your psychology. Every element of a casino is designed to distort your perception of time, money, and probability. No clocks, no windows, endless loops of ambient sound, free alcohol, comfortable chairs, loyalty programs that reward frequency, not profit. The lighting is calibrated to reduce fatigue. The carpet patterns are intentionally chaotic to keep your eyes moving upward toward the machines. Even the oxygen levels are optimized in some casinos to keep you alert and playing longer. You're not in a game, you're in a behavioral conditioning environment. And slots are the most efficient extraction tool ever created because they require no skill, no strategy, no social interaction, just you, the machine, and your credit card. The average slot player loses $100 to $300 per session, not because they're unlucky, but because the math guarantees it, and the psychology ensures they'll keep trying. Here's what most people don't understand. Casinos don't need to rig the game. They just need to rig your perception of the game. You think you're chasing a jackpot, but you're actually chasing a dopamine hit. And the machine is perfectly calibrated to give you just enough to keep you hooked and just little enough to keep you losing. This is not gambling. This is behavioral engineering. Now let me be clear. I'm not telling you to never play slots. I'm not here to judge how you spend your money. I'm telling you to understand what you're playing against. There is no system that beats the house edge. There is no pattern that predicts the next spin. There is no strategy that guarantees profit. The TikTok videos showing massive wins, they're real, but they're statistical outliers. For every person who wins $10,000, there are 10,000 people who lost $100 each. That's how the math works. That's how casinos stay in business. But there is awareness, and awareness is the only defense you have. Did you ever think casinos were designed like this? That every sound, every light, every payout was calculated to manipulate your behavior? Comment yes if this changed how you see the game. Here's what I learned from my $500 trial. The machine didn't take my money. I gave it, because I believed I was playing a game, but the game was playing me. The wins felt random, the losses felt random, but the overall experience was perfectly controlled, designed to maximize my time, maximize my spending, and maximize my chances of coming back. And the scariest part? It worked. Even knowing all of this, I still felt the pull. So here's the real question. If you know the system, if you understand the psychology, can you still play responsibly? Maybe, but only if you treat it like what it is. Entertainment with a guaranteed cost, not an opportunity, not a strategy, not a way to make money. You're paying for the experience, and the price is whatever you're willing to lose. Set a limit, walk away when you hit it, never chase losses, never believe you're due for a win, and never ever think you're smarter than the math. This is only the surface. The next layer is darker. The loyalty programs, the player tracking systems, the data casinos collect on every player, and how they use that data to personalize your manipulation. Do you want me to expose that in part 2? Should I continue this series and show you exactly how deep the system goes? Comment system if you're ready for the next revelation. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you understand it, you can't pretend it's just a game anymore. The house always wins, not because the game is rigged, but because the player is.